To have that in case you're ever in the neighborhood here.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Is
you.
this you?
Yeah, that's me. I'm Art.
Cool. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Well, our next guest is here. Somebody who actually I talked about ahead of time saying, hey, you should come on out here. Everyone else has just been walk-ons. This is local comedian Mark Viola, who can be seen occasionally at, can we see you at the Improv ever?
You can see me at the Improv.
All right,
you
and we got to
can
just...
see me at Bonkers Comedy Club. You can see me all around the state of Florida and parts
I don't know why
further
that's not
beyond.
working. You know what? I'm going to put you on this microphone instead.
For some reason, the other one's sounding strange.
Yeah.
Mark is one
It's
of...
really just my voice.
Holy hell.
That's what it is right there.
Well, what we've been doing is watching all three movies today, and they said they're going to show them in the correct order as they originally aired, but we're only going to enjoy the episodes 4, 5, and 6. So they may actually do episode 1 after this, Greg, but I don't know. We've already...
Is there an episode 1? I've
Yes,
never...
yes.
What? There's 3 Star Wars movies.
Correct.
Correct.
I think that was a line in a...
And I absolutely hate to do this to you. But
I know,
I'm
I
gonna
know.
go around to this side of the table just so that you don't have to talk through my head.
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah, so I can actually see you, Mark. Hello.
Hello.
Now-
I'm usually more popular when not seen.
Oh, well, too bad. You're on video.
Well, I've got a face for radio.
There we go. There it is. Does that sound better, Greg?
I sound good.
All right, so this is Mark Viola. This is my friend Greg Moan, and
Hi.
this is Art Miles.
This
Hi.
is Art Miles.
Hello, universe.
So now, Mark
This is a beer.
Mark Viola is a local comedian. You can see him at the Improv and a couple other places. You said, and he's also a.
So you better be funny.
He's also a.
Make
Don't
us
you
laugh.
don't
Go.
you hate that,
Guys, it's
Yeah.
been great.
Right.
He's also good night. He's also a contributor to the News Remixed on Fox 35. Yes, we've recently, in the past few months, changed the format of the show as it becomes more and more difficult for us to try and just grab YouTube clips off the internet and get permission from the YouTube clippers.
You know
is
what?
that a
and,
name?
And you really shouldn't do that anyway because everybody else is doing that. And
I know.
I'm getting a little
It's
tired
been
of it.
4 or 5 years. We started in 2011, but so David came up with another idea. How about instead of getting these YouTube clips and hoping we find the ones we want pertaining to the topic we're talking about, how about we go to the local comedians in town here who we've worked with a couple of years ago and see if they will just send us material based on the topic that we're talking about. And Mark is one of those contributors.
Mark, how long have you been busting your balls in clubs trying to make people happy?
I've been living the struggle, as the kids say these days, for a little over 4.5 years.
Excellent.
4.5 years. So when we met you, which was over 2 years ago, was it over 2 years ago?
I was just about 2 years in.
We went
at
to
that
the
point.
Improv and we were like coming up with another pilot after another idea to try and get us to be a half-hour show. We got the local comedians and we lined them up, and you'll have to even remind me what it was we
Was
did.
it The Bachelor? What were you doing?
I don't know what but we had 3 of them up on stools, and
You guys.
we brought up topics.
Yeah,
Three
you-
on
you
stools.
threw us-
That's the dating game. Never mind.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
Mark found his match that night.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was Preacher. So that was
Nice.
Preacher Lawson, another local comedian who just won
Florida's funniest comedian.
Florida's funniest comedian just like a week or 2 ago. And I wish we could get Preacher in here to tell us the stories he's been talking about on Facebook recently. But
Sorry,
that's a
Mark,
different.
we don't care about you.
But
We
that's a
wanna-
different
we wanna get
podcast.
Preacher in
Oh, no,
here.
no, that's fine. That's
Okay.
fine. I'm used to
It's
opening
just
up for
he's
him.
had a lot of drama lately. It's been fascinating. But Mark, we did some sort of pilot, and I can't remember what we did because we've done like 5 pilots since then and 5 before then, and just trying to get a half-hour show going.
The Improv one, what you guys did was we were at the Improv on
Mm-hmm.
stage. It was me, Preacher, and Will Hageman, and you
Gave
would
you a
bring up
topic?
6 to 8 actual news articles about sort of like
Oh, okay.
oddball news stuff.
Yes.
And we would just kick around and talk about it. About an 8-minute segment. And
We tried to turn that into a half-hour show, but it just wasn't, or just the bosses kind of just meh when they saw it. We just couldn't find the right mix, and
Maybe-
then lately
Maybe the news wasn't funny.
it wasn't funny, and it hasn't been for a long time until
It is
it
now.
became election season. So every
It's
episode
funny
we've
now.
done about, I'd say 10. Well, we've done 12 episodes. I think of only half have aired so far, or will ever air. But we've gone very political. We're just going to focus on politics between now and then the election. So we've got a year, and what we do is we find a topic that's in the news, whether it be straight on politics or something that has something to do with politics.
Gun control, abortions.
Or anything
Star
like
Wars.
that.
Abortions is funny.
Star Wars was a recent topic. We did an episode called The Excitement Poll, and what are people most excited about? Are they excited about the Iowa caucus? they excited about the Super Bowl? Are they excited about the new Star Wars movie? And the percentages came out, and people are more excited about Star Wars than anything.
Actually, the winner
No, there
was
was
the
one.
Super Bowl.
Right, it was the Super Bowl
was twice as popular as anything, followed by
What is
the
it?
Caucasus, and
then 1%
Star
lower was
Wars.
Star Wars, was
Yeah,
right under it.
Which is why it said that Americans, our favorite thing to do is watch millionaires give each other concussions.
Right. Now, have you seen the episode yet?
I did.
Okay,
I did,
that episode was just on a couple of days ago, and as soon as it's on the air, we like to put it up on the Facebook page. But
Really, on what Facebook page, Art?
we put it on the News Remixed Facebook page. That's facebook.com/the News Remixed.
And can I
gotta
find
like that page.
can I find episodes like older than just the most recent
You
one?
can find, I'm glad you said that, Mark. You can find all 179 episodes of the News Remixed on our Facebook page.
Wow, that sounds
79.
interesting. But as far as the ones that Mark Viola is on and are actually funny, how far back can we go on that? All of them, maybe?
Can all of them be up there? Unfortunately, we've done a couple episodes that where the bosses just said, no, that can't air. An example of that being we did an episode on the dollar store. There's no such thing as the dollar store. It's Dollar Tree and Dollar
General.
General. Thank you. We did one on the
Not that I
dollar
shop
store.
there.
No.
No.
But
Not
what
that
we
I have to shop there.
But what we did was
Goodwill.
we said let's do an episode on that because apparently people go shopping there for little stocking stuffers for Christmas, a dollar store, and then we found out that they actually have dollar steaks there. So we did this whole episode built around dollar store savings, and they have like dollar prime rib or whatever. But we based the article on something from ClarkHoward.com. Clark
I
Howard
listen
is
to
like
Clark
a
Howard
consumer.
sometimes,
Okay,
yeah.
so we did the whole episode, and we're like, here we go. Here's the episode. Take a look at it. And our boss said, oh, you know what? Clark Howard is actually, he works for NBC quite a bit, and he's doing a lot of stuff for the local NBC station here. We can't really promote the competition, so that episode has been scrapped. We can't even air that. That is actually up on our little secret page for you guys to look at least because you guys put a lot of work. We love that episode. But we're working on the two that we have right now is the excitement poll, which just
Wait,
aired
did
that you were in.
actually speak to Clark Howard?
No. We just went to his webpage and looked at all the information. He did an article on the dollar store savings
Why
that you
couldn't
can get.
just maybe quote him as Hart Cloward or something?
Because we don't want to start that whole episode over again because it was all based on all his bullet points on stuff that we found. So there's the excitement poll one that Mark was just mentioning, and the one that I was just editing yesterday with Mark, our political. What am I trying to say? Your predictions for the upcoming debates for the Republicans and the Democrats.
It's so exciting.
And what we do sometimes is we get clips from the comics. They tell us a joke, and it's like, okay, we put it in. But then Mark goes and does something where he pretends to be a swami. Is that the correct word? Fortune teller.
That would
And
be
he
a fun
puts a
point.
little towel on his head. And the first image we see is the towel on the head, and we're like, oh, well, that's never going to fly. But then we realize, oh, he's trying to be a fortune teller.
Yeah, it's,
so
a,
then,
it's a turban, not
right,
a towel.
turban.
It's
So what I did was, and you haven't seen that
tasteful.
episode yet because it hasn't aired yet. It's only we have to send every episode to the corporate lawyer, and she's actually okayed that one. It's going to air next week. But what I've done is I took what Mark did, and he had the turban on his head, and then I go as an editor and I put things in front of Mark. I've like a crystal ball, and then when you mention Trump, I've got Trump in the crystal ball, and then you go from him to Hillary to Rubio. You ended with Rubio, and then we spun off that joke into me with a washboard on my body because you mentioned Mark Rubio having washboard abs. So what we do is we take what
I thought that was
they've
Mark
given us.
Ryan.
That's P90X guy. What's his
Paul
name?
Ryan.
Paul Ryan.
Ryan.
Right.
Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan.
Speaker of the House. That's correct. So
He's hunky.
So what we do is we look at all of your clips that you guys send us. We have like 9 comics, and Mark is one of them. Half of them are local here, and we just kind of build episodes around them now. So you guys do something funny, we try and leech on would be the better word, leech onto what you give us, and try and add jokes to the jokes that you give us. And David and I are having a blast right now, just putting these together.
Instead of putting Trump in the crystal ball, you should have just put Trump's hair
On the crystal ball.
Ooh,
That would have
that's
been
awesome.
Damn, that would have been good. But you weren't making a reference to his hair at that time. Somebody else did.
There is literally a thing you do in Black Ops 3 Zombies where you knock down this thing and it's a hair piece or a wig on like a golden like hairpiece statue thing,
Yes.
and everybody calls it the Donald Trump. It's
just a
amazing.
thing.
Yeah.
It's just a thing.
Stupid.
So I'd say out of the 12 episodes that we've shot, so far half have aired, and I think you've been in almost every episode except for a few but I can't remember why. Either
far as I know,
you
I was in
didn't
every
make the
episode.
cut, or maybe you have then.
As far as
Okay.
I know, I've been in every episode.
Because every
Unless
time.
you're- am I fired? Are you
Yes,
telling me,
yes.
Did you bring me on here and tell me I'm fired? That I'm not on the show
Sorry.
Speaking
anymore?
of Donald Trump, yeah, you're
Cutting
fired.
room floor,
You're
sorry.
fired. So you know what? You might be right because every time that you guys air, I have to go and update the photo that comes up at the top of the app where David says these comics, and then your photos pop up. We stopped doing that because we got sick of having to redo all the photos every time. Now we just kind of start the episodes because we want to spend more time on the episodes rather than. Here's the Facebook page. Let's introduce the comics. And one of the things the comics get that even David and I don't get is they get their names at the bottom of the screen. Anytime they come up, for the first time of each episode, they get their name. They get to put anything down below that they want, which is usually your Facebook page or your web page. Is it Mark Viola? Where's yours at? This is a good time to plug that.
Yeah, actually, well, my Facebook is facebook.com/Mark Viola Comedy.
Got it.
Twitter is @MarkViolaComedy.
Okay.
If you just Mark Viola Comedy in Google, you'll come up
It
with
should
my
pop up.
YouTube, my Laugh Queue, my
Oh,
Facebook.
so you have a good SEO guy.
I am a
SEO.
good SEO guy.
Yes.
You are the good SEO guy. We aren't so
Yes,
much.
we need that. Some people need that.
Okay.
So that's good.
Well, if
Oh,
you're hiring, I'm unemployed. So that's,
I am too.
he's a comic. He's unemployed and he's a comic and he's looking for work. Do you have any dates coming up that we can be looking forward to?
yeah,
that?
actually, in January 8th and 9th, I'll be at the Bonkers in Sanford at
Bonkers?
Paradise Cove.
Okay.
And the last weekend in January, I'll be at Boardwalk Bowl in East Orlando. And
I'm not familiar with that one. Where's that?
You know where the Walmart used to be over on Colonial near Dean? That shopping center with the Walmart, and then the Walmart left.
Colonial
and they put in
and
a bowling
Dean.
alley with video games and stuff
Okay,
like that.
okay.
Yeah, it's an entertainment complex, and there's a Bonkers Inn over there. It's been there.
Is that near
7
the
years, 8.
frickin' Keglers or?
It's right next to Appliance Direct.
Oh, it's
It's huge.
That's actually fun spot.
yeah.
Oh,
What's
I've got
what's
my
their-
commercials mixed
yeah.
up.
It's the
I'll buy
same
Appliance
guy.
Direct.
It's the same guy.
You pay too much.
You pay too
That's
much.
what it is.
God,
Okay.
I got my Orlando catchphrases mixed up.
Yeah.
It's
God,
huge.
you know who I miss? And maybe this isn't the right place to bring it up.
That
but I
lady
miss
with the leg brace.
the family Automart guy.
Oh yeah. You know what? I just saw a Facebook
on down
post.
here.
I saw a Facebook post. You know, you get those like 2 years ago. You said this, and he had passed
Oh
away.
God. Oh God.
Come
Oh,
in and
God.
sit for God's sake. Oh, he's got to work the
Oh.
floor.
He's dancing around like a
It's
fool.
not like you have a business to run or anything.
Jesus,
I
he's
mean,
got to run. But the family Automart guy had passed away, and we've
Oh,
got.
no.
It was a couple of years ago.
What about the
Yeah.
credit guy? Is he still around?
credit? What creditkarma.com?
No, the credit guy who worked for Family Automart, because it was the whole family. You know, it was like a.
Yeah, it was those super racist commercials.
Oh,
Oh my God! He
Oh.
would introduce everyone.
Forgot about that.
As if it was like the Family Feud. It's like, dun, dun, dun. It's like, here's our credit guy, Big Fat John, and it's like I think it was black, right? It's,
Oh,
Mine-
I
yeah,
might
I
be
think
thinking of
so.
somebody else that's died. Who's the guy I'm thinking of who used to be talk about the tires?
tires aren't tires ain't pretty.
Tires
guy.
ain't pretty. Yeah, that's who I was
That
thinking
guy.
about. What you were referring to. I'm getting my local
You're drunk.
professionals. That was a
Drunk
soft
art is
drink.
drunk.
That was a soft drink. So you've got those two shows coming up. You said.
Yeah, and best place to keep informed about all other big upcoming shows, because sometimes they come pretty quick, is on my Facebook, facebook.com/Mark Viola Comedy. Go ahead and like it.
Absolutely.
And, only the most cleverest, best-looking people are fans of that page. So,
So it's an exclusive
all
club.
of you fantastic
will-
people out there, make
I
sure
will
to go
never
and
be
join that.
accepted.
It's an exclusive.
Well, it's one of
club.
those things that once you join, you become.
Oh.
Yes. Oh, that's
So
very
I go
good.
from
The
a
cleverest,
4
most attractive people.
to a 6.3.
Really, I think that's pushing the top.
Wow,
of
that's
the,
that's
really
really
the top
jumping
peak
up there.
for
Five
you.
and a half then. 5.5.
So-
I'll take 1.5. That's fine.
Mark is no stranger to Gods and Monsters. You've been here before. You said you come here on certain D&D nights.
I'm actually here to play D&D right now. I think my party is waiting for me. I'm a cleric, so they're just gonna have to wait.
Oh,
die.
Sorry.
you're holding up the whole game then.
I am, and I'm fine with that.
Is that something you try and do here every week or every few weeks? You come here on a certain night?
Yeah, most Saturdays, if I don't have a show, I'll drop in and we'll throw some dice, and we're playing 5e, which for the D&D players out there who haven't had a chance yet, a little over a year ago. 5th edition came out, which
We
of course means
spoke to.
buy a new book.
Who did we speak to?
His name is Brian. Excuse me for a second, as I'm totally
sure it
blanking
wasn't?
out. No, Brian is.
Was the
Brian's just walked by, and it made me think of Brian.
No, we spoke to the man who.
He was good friends with Gary Gygax, and he did some writing with him in his later years. And his daughter's in Girl Scouts with mine, and I'm totally drawing a blank on his name right now.
He comes here for the Pathfinder Society stuff,
I believe
right?
that's
Yes.
true.
Yeah, I've played with him a few times.
We need to keep a short
I know.
list of the people that
I'm
we
so
have
bad.
talked to, because we do that often where we're like, who is
that guy? I mean, we're on.
That
This
guy?
is episode 51 for us.
Damn it.
For future reference, I'm Mark.
Yes,
Hi,
Mark.
How you doing?
Mark
Yeah.
Viola.
And-
Yes.
And you are a ice cream man? Wait.
He
I am
works
whatever you need me to be.
He works for Appliance Direct. I thought we understood that.
Family Auto
No.
Mart. Okay.
I'm trying to think of his name. I feel really
Where
bad.
the
His name
real
was
I want
Bill.
to sell you a van.
Bill Sylvie. Bill Sylvie. Does that name ring a bell?
Yes.
He's big in the D&D, and he's going to try and get something together with Todd where we've got like the Dungeon Master, and we've got cameras, and we'd be up on the big screen and play like interactive Dungeons and Dragons. He's kind of working on that with Todd right now for
That would be-
January, February.
That'd be great. It's going through a huge resurgence right now.
Right.
That's what he said, yeah.
One of
yeah.
my favorite shows
It's on an
about it.
upswing.
Check it out online. It's called Critical Role.
Critical
it's
Role.
A bunch of voice actors out in L.A. who've been playing for years together. Geek and Sundry started recording and airing on all their stuff on Twitch, and it's actually really fascinating. Like, it's hard to imagine a world where you're like, wait, all I'm doing is sitting and watching people roll dice.
That's a
and
thing
play.
now.
But the fact is that they're all very experienced voice actors. The Dungeon Master, Matthew Mercer, very, very talented storyteller, experienced writer and gamer.
We lost a camera.
Really,
Your camera stopped.
Son of a whore.
So we're just going to
All right.
keep going like
We'll keep going.
this.
well, it's super compelling, and it's weird to find yourself getting emotionally involved in people.
Oh, sure.
Literally sitting at tables with pen and paper. There's no animation. There's no physical action other than rolling dice. But it's actually it's really compelling, really fun to watch, and I think something like that would be great here to do live with little celebrity group, if we can call any of you guys celebrities.
What kind of early memories do you have of Dungeons and Dragons? When was the first time you played?
Oh man, I played when I was much younger. Very very briefly. I had a couple of friends who were into it, and I remember just sort of getting lost in the math. See, that's one of the things with
Lost in the math?
Well, one of the things with 5th edition is that they've sort of simplified things a little bit more. Like Pathfinder, which is D&D 3.5
Okay.
rules. Everything has a quantifier, right?
Okay.
So it's like, well, when
Do you have an example?
when you roll, you add 4 for your strength bonus, plus add 2 from your weapon, plus
Okay.
minus 4 because the person has 2/3 cover, plus since you're if you're shooting prone, that's a -2. If you're standing, that's a +2. So
I was told there would be no math.
my understanding,
Yeah.
there would be little sync audio there. There'd be no math. Good old Chevy Chase routine.
Right. But with 5e, they sort of did away with that, and you still roll, and you still have modifiers that you add to things. But now the rest of all of that has been replaced with a concept of advantage, disadvantage.
Okay.
So if you have advantage, you roll twice, take the higher number. If you have disadvantage, you roll twice, take the lower number. But hold on one second. Hey guys, can you grab my book and bring it over here if you're leaving the table?
Where's the cleric?
Sorry, my D&D group just gave me the high sign. They're like, yeah, we're leaving. And all
We're
the
out.
stuff is on the table. Oh, is anyone over there with the stuff? No, you want me to go grab it? Yeah, if you could, please. Thank you. Yeah, so that got straightened out. Anyway, you just get a little freaked out because you got, like $150 worth of books.
Right, and everybody at your table
stuff.
just walked away.
Yeah, but not that anyone would ever steal anything.
No,
from
no.
Monsters and
Mark's too
Monsters,
good for
'cause
us.
everyone
He's
here
talking
knows.
to podcast guys. Well, fuck him.
We're walking out on him. No.
I
Okay,
don't,
so
I
you
don't
were
disagree with anything you said, but
so you were giving us examples of.
yeah. So for example, if you blind a creature, if that creature tries to attack you, it has disadvantage. Instead of trying to do mathematical quantifiers for what blindness would reduce
Okay.
from an attack roll, now the DM would just roll twice for the monster,
Okay.
and take the lower of the two, and that's how you determine whether it hits or not.
A lot less math. You're right.
Yeah. So it just makes it a lot easier. It keeps gameplay really better focused. There's a new mechanic also called inspiration. What that does is it gives you an additional die to roll to add to any saving throw
Okay.
or ability check. So bards are able to do it. bards have the ability to inspire, so you can play a little song on their flute, and then you can get like a D6 or a D8 to roll into. So if you're rolling an attack throw and the attack throw comes out to 16 and it doesn't hit, you can roll the inspiration die, add another few to it. If the monster's AC is 18, boom, you hit.
Okay, I see. I can follow.
The other cool thing about that is that the rule book is very specific that DMs can award inspiration die for good role playing. So instead of just sitting around and being like, "I'm a dwarf, I hit you with my sword." Thanks, man. I hit you with my axe. This way you can kind of be like, "Ah, laddie, I'm a dwarf, and I run up and I hit you with my axe." And the DM can be like, "You know what? A dwarf would hit you with the axe like that. Here's a D6 inspiration die."
Do you like being a dungeon master, or do you prefer to play the game?
I actually have not DM'd before. I'm a player.
I was the same way when I was a kid. I always was a player.
Yeah. DMing, that is accepting more responsibility for other people's fun than I'm usually willing to do. But hats off to guys who do it well.
It's not as much fun either. Well, maybe it is to be the dungeon master. I would.
It can be if you're the kind of kid who likes to burn ants with a magnifying glass. You probably really enjoy being dungeon master.
You had spoke about how you don't understand, or you didn't understand how or people don't understand how people would want to sit and watch a game happen and how it might be interesting. Well, if you had told me even 3 years ago that a big part of YouTube would be a bunch of kids playing video games,
right, watching them play games,
and just making commentary with their little face in the corner, I'd be like, that is the stupidest shit I've ever heard of.
However,
but I do this now. I watch hours of Let's Play videos and gameplay videos and commentary videos. It's just like, what has happened to me?
You guys want in on the ground floor of $1 million social media idea?
Oh, no.
Go ahead.
I'm not in. No.
Go ahead. Let's hear.
All right.
Oh, okay. Wait. Yeah.
I want to do a YouTube channel that's reaction videos to people watching commentary videos talking about Let's Plays.
South Park did it.
Simpsons did it.
Unfortunately, South Park did it.
Really?
Yeah.
Son of a. All right, back to the Shark Tank drawing
Which
board.
means that the Simpsons probably did it 2 years
Simpsons
before that.
did it. Right, or 10 years ago. So one of the themes here, of course, this evening is Star Wars. Do you have any memories of, please tell me you're not that young, do you have any memories of seeing these movies in the theaters when they came out?
I'm a Battlestar Galactica guy.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, I'm more Stargate, really. I don't really
Stargate's lame.
Earth
You gotta
2.
go Earth.
I watched Earth 2. It
Battlestar.
was awesome.
I'm old enough that I was alive when Jedi came out, but my mom wouldn't have taken me to see it in the theaters. I would have been
Because
too
moms
young.
You would
didn't
have been
get
a
it.
screaming baby that everyone's like, shut that kid up!
Exactly. In fact, Art and I were talking about this. Art was asking me, he's like, "Hey man, are you really excited?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm excited." He's like, "You're gonna go see it at midnight?" I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna see it at midnight. The hell is wrong with you? I'm gonna go
2 weeks on Tuesday.
2 weeks on Tuesday,
That's
11 in
correct.
the morning,
Right.
the matinee show, which is gonna be cheaper, and also no screaming kids, no anything."
I'm going to have 3 seats on either side of me to open my legs up wide.
Nobody in costume.
Exactly.
Entertain me.
No
That's
8-year-old with a lightsaber banging it into the back of my head through the movie. Any of that.
However, if
They
you
don't
wait
allow
that
that
long,
stuff.
if you wait that long, you might be sitting next to the guy who's already memorized the entire movie and he's reciting it in front of you.
No.
Right, but if that one guy is there and he sits down right next to me in an empty theater, I have
just
every
punch him
right
in
to
the
punch
dick.
him in the face.
Oh,
Yeah.
in the face? Okay. I'd go for the dick. but-
You seem like the type that would always go for the dick.
well, yeah.
That's a separate
I'm
episode.
sorry, we just
That's
met.
a
I
separate
shouldn't-
episode.
No, I deserve that.
you had
And
that
you're not
comment.
wrong. You're not wrong.
This is the great scene. This is the great.
And back to the film.
And here's the movie. This is
Art gets a little nervous every time I go a little blue.
especially with the kids around. This is the great scene where everybody loves somebody.
What? Oh, look at him.
Yeah, he's all upset because the Rancor just died. He was the Rancor handler. He probably handled him when he was a little Rancor baby.
I can't believe they made an action figure of the Rancor
Yeah,
handler.
they did. He was all his gut was hanging out with hair and stuff like
Yeah.
that. A little too much.
Yeah,
So
that was the figure you got if your parents really didn't love you
or didn't understand you at all.
Yeah.
Look, I got you one of them Star Wars figures. Oh,
He's a
it's the
fat
Rancor
old man.
handler. With a tear in his eye
Did
because
Chewie
Rancor.
get taller in that film?
No,
Look,
no.
It looks like he's 9 foot tall.
Well, he's not usually standing next to all the short humans at once, I
Oh,
guess.
okay.
I don't know. Yeah,
Look
he
at
does.
him.
Wow.
Look at him.
That is pretty tall.
He's Minute Bowl.
I just want to know how his fur never got matted with all the stuff that they went through.
Oh, it must have.
We just watched Empire, and it was a mess in Empire.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. There were scenes where it did look kind of messed up.
Yeah.
Conditioner.
I imagine
Must
Han
use
has Han has a pet brush about yay big that he just uses on his back.
Because he
roller
can't.
things, the
You're
roller
right.
things?
He
Yeah.
cannot groom himself in the back.
Hey, that's
There's
Lando
no way.
behind him, right?
Yes.
Who doesn't know that's Lando?
I guess Jabba the Hutt, because he hired him.
Then he's short-sighted.
Yeah. Well, he always had the mask on. You don't know.
Nearsighted.
Yeah.
He's the one black guy in the universe. He
Farsighted.
should have noticed. You're
I don't know
right.
Which one of those two? Yeah.
So this is hour 5 for us.
Ugh.
We've just been going for 5 hours.
I'm sorry, I vom a little bit every time that I see George Lucas CGI
Yeah,
add-on.
you saw the add-on part there. It was a wide shot of the
It's just
skiff.
unnecessary. There's no reason for it.
I guess he did it because he always thought, I would have done this if I had the technology then. I don't know. What are you
Maybe
going to do?
he just hates us and everything we stand for as fans. Maybe he's a sadist who
Is-
likes to punish us for enjoying his
Oh
work.
my God.
Isn't it weird? Is
He's
there
Donald Trump.
any other example in the world of you created this, you gave us this.
And then
However,
you-
we
then you
do
screwed it up.
not want you involved in this in any way.
Yes, I can think of another example in movies off the top of my head.
Go on.
Indiana Jones.
Okay, well, that's a very similar
Wait, wasn't
example.
that also?
That's the same guy. but then the opposite of that, if anyone else was going to play Indiana Jones, we'd probably be like, I'm out. I'm not going to. Chris Pratt? No, I don't want to see him
Oh,
as
look.
Indiana Jones. I don't want to see that movie. I'm out.
I feel like they're just going to remake every single movie with Harrison Ford with Chris Pratt. Like,
Yeah.
like 5 years from now, there's going to be like an Air Force One remake with Chris Pratt, being like,
Get off my plane,
dude.
Yeah.
yeah, you're right.
What about Michael Bay? I mean, he remakes the same movie.
Hi. Welcome
He-
to the show.
He remakes the same movie every 3 years, and we hate it more and more every 3 years.
Michael Bay,
And
Transformers.
it makes more and more money.
Speaking of which,
Why do we do that? Why?
There are a lot of stupid people in the world who like crappy movies. If they didn't, then there would never have been Glitter or Crossroads or Geely.
Yeah, but those
Glitter.
movies didn't make shit for money.
Made
What was-
made enough. I mean, let me put it this way: there were people who paid to go and see them.
Was there a Geely 2?
There was no.
Yeah, it was called Jersey Girl. Thank you. Good night.
Hey, yo. Really, I thought it was called Batman v Superman.
Well done.
We were just talking about that, how the trailers are just giving away too much. Now we see
Oh, yeah.
Superman pulling his mask off. Like, okay, we're going to tell you that much
Okay,
about
can you
the
guys
story.
back me up on this? Because I've been saying this online,
Go
and
ahead.
some people are saying yes, some people are saying no.
I'm all for an online argument.
Go.
When the villain comes jumping in off the building and then goes for the close-up, is that or is that not the same exact shot that they used for Abomination in The Incredible Hulk?
All right.
You made
we
that
were
mention
we were
last
at
week.
work and we grabbed a split screen from that scene from the movie because I had a friend at work who knew exactly what it was, and he pulled them aside, and it's like, oh, they just copy and pasted this and then erased a couple of the horns off him. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like it looked like the exact same shot.
It was the exact same shot.
Well, I argue that Zack Snyder made the exact same movie that he made 6 years ago with The Watchmen. I believe Batman v Superman is going to be that same movie. I saw a lot of the same effects. I saw this giant explosion thing for the whole city. I mean, that happened in Watchmen. And it's the same thing where it's a bunch of superheroes that don't like each other, and then they have to band together to
Right.
fight some other super villain, whatever bullshit. And, yeah.
Watchmen is one of the most interesting comic book movie discussions.
I like
because
it.
It's on the border of being both one of the best comic book movies ever made and one of the worst comic book movies
I
ever
put
made.
it in
And
the best category.
I would as well. The one thing that disappointed me, and is the thing I get the most crap for from my fellow nerd friends, is as pissed off as everyone was in 1987
Yeah.
when the last issue came out.
We'll call it
the
that.
giant squid. As
Yeah.
pissed off as everybody was who was invested in reading this every month and then getting that and being like, "Are you kidding me?" That I felt was the worst thing missing from the movie, because making Dr. Manhattan the villain
Yeah.
screws up the entire point of the movie.
Wait a minute, though. Wasn't that also his doing from the
No. In the comic, they
Graphic novel.
in the graphic novel they bioengineered a giant squid thing and used Dr. Manhattan's energy focus power for the transporter, make that appear in the middle of Manhattan, and then told everyone that it was an alien invasion from this unknown alien race. and humanity avoided destroying ourselves by uniting together in anticipation for an alien invasion.
Okay.
Instead of making Dr. Manhattan the bad guy. At that point, it allowed Dr. Manhattan to just kind of go, you know what, humanity has to work its stuff out on its own. I'm going to leave.
I'm still okay with that, though, because Dr. Manhattan sacrificed himself and his future to become the villain that everybody has to band against to make sure that he doesn't come back and fuck up the program.
Right, but the point of the book was that Dr. Manhattan wouldn't have made that sacrifice. That he just sort of was like, oh, I see how things work now. Let humanity do its stuff. I'm going to leave, as opposed to
that because
him.
he was so apathetic at that point that it didn't matter to him one way or the other anyway.
Right.
So why would he do this altruistic thing to band humanity together? I see your point.
Yeah, it's sort of like the horrible ending that they had for. Oh man, I got Star Wars music in the back of my head, so I can't remember the name.
It's everywhere.
I Am Legend.
Oh,
How badly they screwed up I Am Legend.
Forget that.
Spoiler alert, everything is wrong. I mean everything. They took one of the most brilliant premises for a story of all time and just completely shat it.